I was very fortunate to actually see how businesses start, how they grew, and how they could eventually die. You all there? In the last job I had. Spent a lot of time with these people, and they were like real entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs. They would take a lot of risks. They would take a lot of chances. The only way to get anything out of life is to what? Is to try. You have to try. I mean, and everybody is more or less ordinary. There will come times when you will fail. I have failed many times at many things. But what I try to do is not to fail at the same thing twice. You all there? Every failure is actually what? A learning opportunity to move yourself into another level. You all there? And there were many times I failed at things I tried. Like at one time, I used to bring down like international people. I would find the best people in the world in different areas and bring them down to do training in Trinidad. So like one of the big moments for me was I brought down a guy called Philip Cutler. They call him the father of marketing. So I brought him to Trinidad in the early when I now started out on my own. Right? Some of you all, if you do your MBA or you go to university, you will study his books at that level if you go into marketing. But one of the reasons why I was bringing on these type of people was not just to lecture to other people, but to do what? To get advice for myself, personal advice in terms of how to better what I was currently doing. You all there? And the big moment with him was that the professor looked at the work, all the work I was doing. I was a chartered accountant at one time. I still am. Right? And he said, well, you're doing all these different things. I showed him all the different work I was doing. He said, well, you should find one thing that you're really good at. And he said, the world will beat a path to your door. Meaning that if you're really, really good, you would become the go-to person in that area, and everybody would check you for the work that you do in that area. You all with me? So whatever you're trying to do, don't try to do everything. A lot of people do this, then they jump to that, then they jump to something else. The minute that they're not getting through, you all there? If you believe in something enough, you need to stick it out and work hard at it to actually get the success that you all want. Everybody with me? But jumping every minute is not the way to go. Yeah, go ahead.
You saying, jack of all trades,
Master of none, yeah.
master of none,
But better than master of one.
But better than master.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know,
Yeah.
how would you approach, like, okay, you have certain interests, yes, but they kind of coincide. How would you prioritize in that respect? Because, like, I'm interested in a lot of stuff.
Sorry?
I'm interested in a lot, but I don't know how, I get distracted easily.
No problem. Yeah. So it is a problem in our age where everybody is like a social butterfly with these phones and with the media and whatever else, social media, etc. See, mine is constantly distracted. Right? So what I tend to do is I normally keep like a list with the priorities that I have to accomplish or the goals I have. So it might only be 2 or 3 things. I'm going to show you all an example of how to do it in a little while. Right? It's time running out on me. So I'll show you all how to actually do it, how I focus. I don't know if it works for everybody, but you need to just, don't put down like every single goal in the atmosphere. You put down 2 or 3 key things. Like for a long time, one of the core goals that I wanted to achieve was to actually have my center built. You all there? And then after that, I had another goal to operationalize it, right? Which I'm doing now. But don't try to do everything under the sun. And associated with that, there will be a lot of other activities that need to get done. So then to operationalize, well, I had to cut deals with other organizations to market the facility, right? I have to do things to bring business to the facility. I have to offer discounts, promotions. I have to go to the human resource body and liaise with them. All the clients I do work with, I go to them too and market. So, I mean, you don't have to limit yourself to one thing, but what you could do is find maybe 1 or 2 things that you're interested in and then focus yourself in that. But within that, there'll be a range of things to keep you interested. Right? You don't work non-stop. I tend to do that, right? I tend to be a very focused person. I will work non-stop till I get it done. Right? They could attest to that. Right? I do stop and they would complain, well, you're not making time for us. Well, I need to get this done, and then I could make that block of time available. Right? So within your own self, you have to find ways to actually focus. So I mean, having the goals, having the key things you want to focus on, stick to that. You have calls, emails, whatever. You need to block times to take those things. So when you're going to check social media, maybe 3 times for the day. Some of you will laugh at me, right? Once in the morning, maybe once in the afternoon, some people would do. Maybe once at lunchtime, if you're so inclined. You all there?
So you're talking kind of about discipline.
Sorry?
Discipline.
It has to be a discipline, a habit that you develop. Right? Remember we talked about doing things incrementally before? Like the guy in the back says he's going to start with 5 pages a day. And then he's gradually going to ramp up to I don't know how many pages so that he could actually read out a whole book within the month. You all there? So the discipline will come from doing incremental or small things and then building up into gradually increasing it to larger things. That's how I see it. The other thing is what I find with a lot of young people is lack of confidence. You all there? I know something I suffered from for many years. When I was younger, oops. Nah, there's Riza one boy. I think I get a code for that. Is it here?
I think so.
Thanks, Jazakallah. So what I would say to you, one of the things that a lot of young people suffer from is lack of confidence. You all there? I'm not sure if I could get this particular thing done. I don't believe in myself enough to get that done. I don't know, anybody here have confidence issues? I had tons of confidence issues when I was small, when I was younger. And that kept me back for many, many years. Where the confidence built was where the last job I had, again, I come back to it because the bosses there gave me a lot of autonomy to do stuff. You all there? So you would have to run with this project and run with that project and get this other project done. And you're in charge of managing teams. So I'm not telling you all to go out and start doing that in a big way. But start off small with small things. Get that small thing done and then jump up to something a little bit bigger. Get that done and go on, and your confidence will build in yourself, in your ability. By the time I was ready to leave, I already knew that I could do anything that I wanted to get done. I could get it done. But the belief to do that, it takes time to develop that level of confidence in yourself. You all there? You have to work on yourself for that. Anything you want in life, it doesn't come easy. You have to work for it. Come back to the story. So in terms of procrastination, we spoke about that. The other thing is, the other key P of managing the time you have available is laying out priorities. You'll agree or no? You must have priorities to whatever it is you choose to actually do. If you do not prioritize, and you will see how I prioritize, normally I will bucket the stuff that I have to do into 3 categories. So category 1 will be high priority. In other words, if I don't do that, I'm going to have to face some penalty or some serious consequence. You all there? So for example, I'm in business. So every quarter, I know I have to pay taxes by the end of the quarter. You all there? And if I do not pay it, or if I do not pay VAT every second month, then what will happen? I will have to pay penalties because of that. Everybody there? So certain things would be very high priority, because if you don't do it, you're going to feel some pain. Right? Certain other things would be important, but not urgent. You all there? In other words, if I don't do it, like for example, if I do not fix my car today and I defer it to maybe tomorrow or the next day, it's not going to be a big deal for me today. Everybody there? So certain other things would be important. And then the third bucket is what I call maintenance, things that probably you have to do in the general course of life on a daily basis. So I'll show you all the categories and how I actually prioritize it in a while. How many people have like a system like that in terms of doing stuff? Very good. That's excellent. Anybody else? Anybody else prioritizes? So usually the night before, very good, or very early in the morning, I would sit down and prioritize the things that I have to do. Not everything you're going to do will have equal importance. You all agree? Not everything you're going to do is going to have equal importance. All right, so do, defer, delegate, and drop. I told you all about that. Those are the 4 choices you have in terms of anything to do. A lot of people have a problem with saying no.
I don't have a problem saying
Yeah, I have a, yeah.
I just want to know in terms of prioritizing, right? There are personal priorities and then priorities that come up like, okay, let's say these are my personal priorities, but then something comes up that I have to do it. I already
Correct.
can't do it.
So what you need to do, and you'll see how I deal with that too, life is not a straight line. During the course of the day, things will happen. And so your priority is going to shift. And then what you have to do, you're going to have to add in this new task, and you're probably going to have to do what? Defer something else, or drop something else that you had to do today in preference to that. You all there? Your child might get sick. Well, that'll be a new priority. You all there? Above other things. Because if you don't take care of that child, they're probably going to die. You all there? Life becomes priority then. So you constantly need to be reprioritizing whatever you have. Because that's just how life is. It's not a straight line. The thing is, a lot of people get overwhelmed by trying to put 20 things as a priority for today. And they might only get 2 done because half of the time they spend procrastinating. And the other half of the time, they spend struggling to get whatever else done that wasn't on the list even. You all there? So if you don't know how to prioritize, how to adjust your schedule, then you're going to be in problems. But life happens to everybody, and things will change. Your priority is going to change. Right? But I generally follow this model when I look at stuff that I have to do during the day. Yeah. Oh, okay. Man, just stretch there. The advice I have here too is sometimes you might be able to when in looking at stuff like this is